Okay, right. I am starting to lose it, but there we go. Guys, it is a couple days out from Christmas. I've been sent to watch. We're in a studio, and Emily's joined me today. Emily, good morning.
Good morning.
And we just thought that it would be really fun to do a quick recording about a watch that neither of us know a great deal about. We admire the model, we admire the brand. It might just be one of the last true luxury brands out there. I would associate potentially Hermes, and it's an H08, and Chanel, possibly. Not that I know much about either of them, but I feel like they're the two last true luxury brands, both independent, not owned by LVMH or others. Firstly, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Very, very well. Always fun to sit and talk watches. Today
You were messaged very late last night and asked if you could come, if you'd be open to coming in and talking about some watches that you didn't know about.
Exactly. I know nothing, but I'm incapable of saying no to you or about watches. So here I am.
Okay, so I've been sent this and I've got it for a few weeks, and it's a watch that came out a few years back. I can actually remember we did at the Watch Annual. We actually produced a piece of art. So Julie Crowless, the Canadian artist, wonderful artist, she produced a giant sketch, a pencil sketch of the H08, which was the watch of the year. So it was probably 4-ish years ago, 3-4 years ago now. Mm-hmm. And I was just saying, it's so enjoyable to wear them. So how do I feel?
It's pretty cool. This is my first time hands-on.
Have you ever handled one before?
No, never.
So this is an honest take, guys. This is not a review. This is nothing but just a quick conversation about a watch that's just come in. And I've worn it and for the last 24 hours, and it reminds me a lot, because it's in titanium, it reminds me a lot of the Elegant. Mm-hmm. And what I love most about the Elegant is the wearability of it. It's so bloody good to wear. Yeah. You can wear it, and I've already worn this swimming yesterday. I took my daughter swimming yesterday, and I didn't take it off. And I'm beginning to think that watches like that, and I guess you can look at the Submariners of the world and others and realize, you know, the general popularity of those watches is such that one of the reasons is that they're just so wearable in anything. And people say that. They say it's good for the suit. It transfers from the suit to the T-shirt to the beat. But does it really? And I've got to say, it does. But my big point here is in titanium. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why more brands don't use titanium. But in titanium, it is so light. It's got a bit of a dark hue to it. The colour's a bit darker than steel. Very hard to polish. Type 5 titanium. Or was it great? Type 6 titanium, Type 5 titanium. It's very hard to polish, but the case is interesting as well, because it's almost industrial. Yeah. It's a block. It's like a block of titanium, and the case sort of bezel and the perimeter of the case edge as well have been polished. And the numerals, the numbers. The type font is entirely proprietary to this. So Hermes created this from scratch, and I love it. I particularly love the 8, you know, the 8 H08. And it's just wonderful. The lume's great. So the lume is, just punched the mic there. The lume is wonderful, and it's all there. It's all there. It's all there. Sure. Titanium butterfly clasp as well. I would probably, if I were able to, I would probably change that to a deployant style, like the Elegant, a single or a double.
Is that just a preference thing? Yeah,
just a personal preference thing, because I find that butterfly a little bit trickier to connect, but it's robust, it's solid, it's robust. Vaucher Movement, and Vaucher, the movement manufacturer, I've actually been to many years ago, visited. They make for everybody, make for lots of different brands, from memory, Corum and Richard Mille and others. I think even Parmigiani maybe. So it's all there. The strap is really nice. It's sort of like a fabric strap. It's not
strap. That's cool.
Not leather. It's not rubber. It's great. I guess a sort of cross-checked fabric strap. And I thought the blue was great. You could obviously change that, and they do have bright colours. So come summer, I think this puppy just comes into a world of its own.
It's just giving Elegant again. It's the concept of you play around with the straps.
And I'm gonna position this to you, Em. If you are not in the market for an Elegant, because it's quite frankly a bonkers watch and very, very, very expensive, this would be my second pick.
Okay.
Yeah, I would. So the price here is under £5,000.
Oh wow, okay.
Under £5,000. And I really would suggest that people consider this as an alternative. If you want something sporty, different, it is squarer. It is squarer. It wears squarer on the wrist. The Elegant's got a bit more of a sort of an elongated form to it, I'd say.
Yeah. For sure.
But wow, just really impressed me. The date window is controversial.
Yeah,
Some would argue whether that date window could be dropped. In an ideal world, I would. The Hermes cut that's come out this year, doesn't have a date window.
Okay.
So that's probably where I would be if I was being really picky. But the grained grey, the sort of two-tone finish on the dial, and that sort of inner bezel, that inner readout, is absolutely incredible.
There is. So I'm just trying to look. If I pick up a watch, then a few things that I naturally gravitate to. Of course, materials, titanium being. I make no secret of the fact more watches should be in titanium.
100%.
It's a wonderful material.
100%.
It's so comfortable, etc., etc. The thing that grabs me about this is it's super wearable, which is the first thing I immediately am put off when I put it on the wrist. It just feels clunky, a bit thick. I went to ride an Omega on the other day, and it's cool, but I put it on, and it just doesn't need to be. Nothing needs to be that thick, unless you're making a manual wind watch. Where you're saying actually all I care about here is the actual performance of the watch, and I created my own movement, and here's why it's thick. But on something like this, I don't think
it needs to be thick for a reason.
Exactly that. Yeah. Exactly that. So, it's winning there. But the thing I really like, and I can't quite work out, so maybe you can help me, is the type font is really cool. So it goes 1, 2, 3, and then the 4 switches sides. If you look, so the 4 now goes back a different way, and then 5, 6, 7.
Are they upside down as well?
So it goes 1, 2, 3 going that way.
Yep.
4 is now going that way. As is the 5 and 6. 7, 8. The 9 then switches. And then the 10, 11, 12. Right? You see that?
So the 3, 6, the 3, 6.
3,
6 and 9, or just the 3, 6. Oh, no, it's the 4. Sorry, it's the 4.
3. The 9. I'm gonna have to think about it. There's got to be some reason, but I'm quite curious about what really grabbed
Let's
me.
have a quick look.
Was the
I honestly hadn't.
around.
I don't think that's upside down. I think that's just the way in which that's the 4. That is the way the 4 looks. I don't think it's. If you look at the 8 is almost abstract as well. The 8's abstract. And I think that 4 that is actually it's the right way around.
Okay.
It's the right way around.
You've got to give this back now. But it's the right way around to me now. But if I'm following the pattern, it does switch. Anyway, well, it's such a small detail that's going to weigh on me. But it's really cool. Look, something I really try and avoid doing is saying I really like something just because,
got to be critical. We've got,
yeah,
that's one thing. Going into 2025.
That.
Yeah.
2025. Everything's the cool thing. Yeah. Everything's the best watch ever made. Yeah. Everything's the most, or it's derivative of some historical thing, which therefore makes it cool. Well, actually,
does it?
It does it. Have you? Actually,
is it wearable? Are you going to wear it? Is it actually cool?
And also something that we all, a bit of a gripe I have at the moment is, we're all a bit obsessed with how much things cost, as if somehow that is, if it's not a 10 grand or above watch now, it's somehow not cool or whatever. Or if, you can go the other way, if it's not under £1,000, it's not cool. But actually this sits it quite nicely in a luxury environment now where everyone has increased their prices. There's a big argument there to say why. A sub 5 grand or roughly around 5 grand for a titanium.
It is sub, I think. It is sub.
A titanium Hermes watch, which is visually pleasing, it's aesthetic, and extremely wearable, and a bit fun. It feels playful. I'm trying to figure out the playfulness.
I agree.
I think it is the type font.
I agree.
And I also just appreciate any design which feels a bit thought through, and the type font is what.
Yeah, so it's 4,700 ish.
Okay.
700 900, depending on the execution you want, but yeah, under 5.
It was by execution. What are the
so
varieties?
you could have there's a titanium coated DLC coated one.
Fine. Okay.
There is a I'll give you the executions. There's a few more. I've got a good friend who's got another one. He's got the carbon fiber case.
Oh, okay. So
you can have
Hermes
carbon
known for their
fiber
materials, because they're 3 pretty interesting materials.
They are. I just think they've had fun with this. I love the idea of a brand sort of trying to forge something new, and that's the other thing in the watch world. We don't have many things that are genuinely new.
Absolutely.
And this is new. This is not based on our pocket watch. This is completely fresh.
Yep.
And this is something that they can continue to iterate and keep moving in different ways.
Yeah.
I actually happen to love the grey. The
Yeah,
grey
it's cool.
itself, the grey dial. It's grained. It's got 3 different finishes because that internal bezel where the markers are for the hours
Yep.
is much darker.
They're really trying to do some interesting stuff. I actually don't know, because this genuinely was very impromptu, this conversation. What is their philosophy around watchmaking? What are they trying to achieve? Because some of the stuff I've seen at the really high end
And
is mega impressive, but not shouted about.
I'm going to put it on there just so you can see, because it's quite nice to see it on the wrist as well to make a judgment as to whether you like it
For sure.
on someone else. Yeah, they seemingly have, they've got that real high-end sort of métier d'art, the artistic stuff at the very end, high-end, beautiful enameling, some automation as well, dress watches. They've also got the Hermes Slim dress watch, which again has that type font that they've created. That's a really lovely, lovely watch. And it can be time only. You might remember Hodinkee did a very beautiful blue dial time only a few years ago, which was like a bit of a smash hit.
I'll have to look into it.
Stunning, multiple different executions of blue on the dial. And then there's also perpetual calendar.
Nice. Okay.
There's a chronograph. There's some really impressive stuff. And I think there's so much out there, and unfairly sometimes we just seemingly forget that a brand like this is doing what it's doing. And I love what they're doing. They're not, by the way, there's nothing commercial in this. They've sent it to me, and they will get the watch back at the end of it. But it's just I think they're doing they're doing some cool stuff, and they're doing it in their own way, in their own lane. I feel like they're sort of unaffected by others, maybe because it's not their primary focus and primary business.
When
they
you've
can.
got the Birkin and the Kelly, you can do whatever you want.
And apparently the prices of those have not gone up considerably. So in the last few years, they have gone up a little bit, but in comparison to a lot of competitors,
That's interesting.
they have not raised the prices as much.
Yeah.
So that's maybe why this feels like it's a little bit more reasonable.
Yeah.
Did you, because you didn't know the price.
Nope. No,
what were you thinking? What was a reasonable figure in your mind?
Honestly, this makes me. I've come to realise that everything at the moment, if you look across IWC, Omega, just the sort of core brands, everything's around 10, 8 to 10, and that's for standard time only stuff. Is there an argument to be made that is, significantly inflated? Certainly, if you look over the past 3 or 4 years, almost definitely. But unfortunately, that's been my standard now. But actually, you only have to cast your mind back. Look at a Speedmaster or something like that. I think they're around the 6.5. So the fact that I naturally went to 10 to 12 is outrageous. That the value prop there is potentially insane. I'd have to, before I came down fully on that, I'd have to look into it a little bit more. But aesthetically, visually, and also for me, actually, you've now got me thinking. I want to see more Hermes. I want to see more of their watches.
Exactly.
What would it actually feel like to pick up their really high end stuff and hold them both? Is it obviously we're not comparing this to FP Journe as a watchmaker, but is it a similar concept that you have this the daily wearer, the jump in the pool when you take your kids swimming, all the way through to the the Met Gala, whatever they give to the celebrities to put on and show off. It has real. You've piqued my interest.
It's unexpected.
Exactly.
It's
I
unexpected.
love that. It's unexpected.
It's unexpected.
Yep.
And I've realised that when it comes to anything like anything style related, I've realised that I'm I guess for lack of a better term, I'm turned on by anything that's unexpected.
Okay.
When you see a combination of clothing that someone's wearing, it's a combination of different genre themes that's exciting. And you see a watch now that's genuinely interesting, and I actually know for a fact that they sell a lot of these watches on Mr. Porter. So I spoke to a good friend of mine, a colleague of mine who was very open about that. He said, these things genuinely sell. They sell loads of them. And now I realise that it comes down to the wearability. And I fundamentally think, and I look at this in myself, are there watches that I've had over the years that I just wouldn't wear very often? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Is there maybe a singular watch you'd be okay with not wearing very often, but every so often pulling out? Yeah. Maybe. But I think it's got to be about wearability now. And that's why I'm thinking more along the lines of the Elegant, the Sport Auto, the Lanfranc Sport Auto I'm wearing all the time in titanium. The Romain Gaultier C, controversial, but again, in titanium.
For sure.
Sports watch.
Yep.
Light, modern, waterproof.
Yes. No, I hear you.
All
I
those
think
things.
there is something to be said for people just want to live their lives. And I'm sat here in probably something I shouldn't be wearing every day, but I'll get over that.
It's got a screw-down crown.
Pardon?
It's got a screw-down crown.
I am going nowhere near water with this, Justin.
What have you got on them? Because some people might not know.
It's the I'll bore everyone, but it's the 3755 in white ceramic. Like the exact opposite of daily wearer, but
The one that we acquired through this
Yes.
some of our chats over the years.
And this is just pure love. But do I, find myself quite often? Here's a true story for you. It's actually sort of embarrassing. I'll go to the gym. I travel quite a lot, and I don't want to leave my watch in the locker. So I have a little Bamford case that I get on the Stairmaster, and I put this into the case, and I carry it around to like the bench, the squat, whatever, and it's just there next to my water bottle. And in my head, I'm like, this is the most ridiculous thing in the world. Why can't I just get a watch that I'll wear? So then if I've got a pilot's chrono on, great. We're getting on the Stairmaster together. That's getting some sweat in the strap, and we're going hard. But this is not.
I wouldn't want to crack it because we know ceramic. That's the one thing. If we drop if you dropped it or it clipped the side of the barbell.
Don't give me that.
That's what we don't want.
I asked Chris if it was if they'd ever bring this out again, and he just looked at me and said, no. Okay, great. I guess I'll keep this one safe.
You remind me of an old lady I once met, a good friend of mine's grandmother, in Marbella. And I played golf with her, and she was probably in her 80s, but she loved her golf. She used a driver for everything because she just did not have the power in her to pull out the 6-iron or the 4-iron. But she was smoking a cigar. She'd always smoke a cigar, and so she'd smoke a cigar, and she'd have a solid gold prong that she'd stick into the ground like this, and that would hold her cigar while she took her driver out from 40 yards out.
I've never wanted to smoke cigars and play golf so much in my life.
It was as badass as it sounds. It really was. So you putting it into that little pouch, and I think I know what it's encased, right? The encased one.
Exactly, yeah, the little donut.
Yeah,
pouch.
the little donut. On that note, the H08, thank you very much for your thoughts. Guys, thank you for joining us. Please leave us your thoughts below. We're genuinely being intrigued. And more to come on this watch from me. Go well.